Right now at 6, we kick off our special series called Recycling Revealed, an in-depth look at how recycling works, the different rules in different places, and what happens when you just throw everything in the trash.
Yeah, we all know that recycling is important, but there are many misconceptions and people make an awful lot of mistakes. So our Michael Wooten starts us off tonight with the do's and don'ts in this Two on Your Side original.
Recycling. 9 in 10 of us support it. Most of us say we do it. So why does 2/3 of our waste still end up in the trash? One cause confusion over whether something is really rubbish or recycling.
Those can all be recycled. Best to go in the trash. No, that's not recyclable.
Alan Davis with Modern Disposal Services is helping us out, explaining generally what you can and can't put in your curbside recycling bins.
So let's start with the basics and things that are easily recyclable.
At the top of the list, glass bottles and jars, steel and tin containers, aluminum pop cans.
Also water bottles and paper, whether we're talking about just loose sheets, a magazine, or a newspaper.
Paper products called fiber make up the vast majority of what actually gets recycled.
So that includes cardboard, paper bags, and even paper plates. A good rule is if you can rip it, you can recycle it.
Cheaper, like white paper plates, for example, you can just kind of easily rip those. Those are recyclable, unless they're totally saturated with food.
And you may be surprised to hear pizza boxes are recyclable.
Almost all pizza companies are putting a wax paper down in the box or a throwaway piece of round cardboard, and that sucks up all the grease and the food. So you throw that away, but then the pizza box itself is fine. And a little bit of food isn't a problem. You just don't want to throw anything in your recycling bin that's really saturated with a lot of food.
There is some confusion surrounding cups. These plastic ones for cold liquids like at Starbucks can be recycled. This has a number 5 on the bottom, remember that. These paper cups that hold coffee cannot be recycled. A lot of people think you can recycle those.
Yes, they do. And generally the problem with those is they're either plastic or wax coated.
And that contaminates the fiber at the paper mills. So more than 50 billion disposable coffee cups end up in landfills each year.
The best option is to get back to using reusable, refillable containers.
Here are some things we've been asked about. These disposable masks we've been wearing during COVID, not recyclable. Same thing with the plastic gloves. Do not put those in here. But you can recycle small cookware that's metal.
Another metal that's recyclable, aluminum foil, though only if you can clean it. Also, no potato chip bags. They aren't really metal.
Plastics are the most complicated. You want to look for a number on it, and if there's a 1, a 2, or a 5, it's probably recyclable, but not always. Cleaning supplies and jugs that are plastic, these are all recyclable. You want to make sure, though, that you take out the contents and kind of clean it out at least a little bit.
Those are fine. Cleaning bottles, detergent is a big one, too. You want to pour them out, rinse them. You don't have to scrub them clean and put soap in them, but just get out everything you can. A little bit of that material can be handled by the different facilities that recycle these end products.
Plastics with the numbers 3, 4, 6, or 7 often cannot be recycled, at least not at the curbside.
Other things you can't recycle would be cups, including red Solo cups, also straws, not recyclable, and plastic cutlery and plastic bags. Don't put any of those in your recycling.
Then there are weird items that people try to recycle.
Bowling balls, baseball bats, tires, these things are not recyclable through this facility.
Finally, plastic bags. They cannot go through the bulk recycling with everything else.
Even the smaller grocery bags wrap around the sorting machines that we have, and every shift our workers have to go in there and cut those all out. So those are definitely a nuisance for us.
Another nuisance when people place their recyclables inside a plastic bag, maybe thinking that helps. It doesn't.
When it comes to our facility, our sorters have to take the extra time to rip that open and dump the material out so the machines can do their work.
So you may be wondering, what happens if you do put a non-recyclable item in your bin? Well, it goes through a sorting facility like Modern's in South Buffalo, and at the end of the day, just takes a long and expensive ride to the landfill. So,
It really is worth looking over your local recycling guidelines. This is the printout from Modern, and you can actually use your cell phone and scan the QR code on the bottom of your screen, and you can look at this and even print it out. This will tell you exactly what you can put in these bins and what you can't.
the good news, about 80% of what shows up here is recycled.
People say, oh, you really are recycling it. You know, and there's nothing that beats the visual of seeing it yourself. It can be complicated. There you can have questions, but it is a good thing to do to recycle.
Because doing your part is a terrible thing to waste.
All right, so a couple of really important footnotes, Scott. Everything that we just went over is for Modern customers, right? That's this printout right here. You can see the QR code at the bottom of your screen there. Again, you can scan it. So we chose Modern because they're a big operator in this region, right? They have the city of Buffalo, they have the town of Amherst, the village of Blaisdell, cities of Lockport, Niagara Falls. But other municipalities could have other providers, and they have their own rules. So you really do need to do that research and find out what you can and can't do specifically where you live. And the other thing, I heard everybody in here saying, you know, plastic bags, what are you supposed to do with them? We're talking about things that can be recycled at the curbside when you put it all in the bin. There are other ways to recycle things. You can take plastic bags in many cases, for instance, back to the grocery store, and they'll do it. You just can't put it in your bulk recycling. Even those red Solo cups, there are programs out there where you can mail them to a company that actually will recycle them. You just can't put it in that single stream bin.
All right, this is a lot of homework here. You really have to go to school, get a PhD in what is and is not recyclable. You and I were talking the other day in the newsroom that I am guilty of being a wish recycler. I think, I'm not sure, I just put it in the recycling bin just in case it's recyclable because I feel guilty putting it in the garbage.
Right, but when you watch that story, you realize if you wish cycle, like Scott does often, and you put something in that's not recyclable, it's just going to go through the whole process and at the end of the day, still go to the landfill. So you're really causing more harm than good. That's why you need to follow the rules and only recycle things that can be recycled.
All right, and I know I'm doing something else that a lot of you folks are doing at home. I have a kitchen, you know, in my kitchen, throw everything into the bag, and I throw the bag in, which he said is wrong.
Yeah.
Why don't they make recyclable bags? Because from the kitchen into my garage, I just carry the bag of recyclables out. But you're saying just pour them in now.
When you're done, you need to dump them because they have to actually have a person at that recycling sorting facility doing what you should be doing, which is emptying everything out. And those plastic bags, they cause so much destruction with all of the equipment, and there's just not a market to recycle them.
Really? You would think that somebody would come up with, because people would want to use a recyclable bag, you would think.
You know, a lot of technology is coming a long way, so we'll see what happens in the future, but at least for now. And remember,
And I know tonight we've got more coming up at 11 o'clock, right?
Part 2 tonight at 11, looking at different municipalities, and then tomorrow we're going to take you through that recycling facility and then also take you to the landfill tomorrow night.
Fascinating stuff, Michael. Michael Wooten tonight. Appreciate it, Michael.
Thanks.